What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Chosen K family. So today I am back with my first YouTube video in about 4 years. Maybe it's been a long time since I have posted a actual video, and I'm just so excited to be back and to be consistent this time and to just be a blessing to whoever comes across this video. This channel is going to be about faith, loneliness, difficult seasons in life, the waiting seasons, what it looks like to flourish when you feel like nothing is going the way that you planned. So feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you would like to learn more or just to grow, or maybe give me some feedback, because I am always open to more feedback. And so let's get straight into this video. My shepherd will. So my first question is, what is God teaching you that you couldn't learn if you were dating? So no, I am not dating anyone, to clear the air. So I have personally learned that joy comes from the Lord and it doesn't come from man. And I feel like a lot of people in this new generation, or even like in the past generations, typically they think they need a partner to have joy, to be happy, or to have this grand life. But in reality, all you need is a relationship with God to be happy, to have joy. And in the last couple of years, I have learned that I have become a much happier person just from not depending on any man or needing a connection with the opposite gender. My joy truly comes from the Lord, and so that's something that I don't think I could have learned if I was dating. What's another question? What do you miss most about home? So if you guys do not know, I'm currently in Australia doing missions work. I have not fully moved to Australia yet. But what was the question? Sorry. What is one thing I miss about home? I really miss my church family at home. I do have one church here in Sydney that really reminds me of my church family, so that has been a blessing. But of course, like, I miss family, friends, but that is one thing that I truly miss, is like my church family. Yeah, because I love my church family, so that is one thing that I miss. And I miss Mexican food. I love tacos, and it's more authentic where I live versus in Australia, so that is also one thing that I miss. What is my go-to coffee order? Okay. Ooh, this is really hard because a lot of times I always get something different, but my options would be like a ice caramel latte. So that's like I would say that's like my top go-to. Anything with caramel, I would get it. I love iced chai latte or a hot chai latte. Chai lattes have become my favorite thing here in Australia, actually, which is really nice. So yeah. What's another question? What do you love most about Australia? So currently, I really love how people are for the most part, that I've encountered, are very nice, very friendly. And so I really love how I can just like stop and like honestly talk to anyone. That's something I really enjoyed, and so I love that. I love how it's a very multicultural population, so I love that as well. I love all the foods that are here. There isn't too much of anything that I don't really like, and so that's been good. And it's been good to like taste different foods and expand my palate. So yeah, I love that about Australia. How did your mom's healing change your perspective on seasons? So for those of you who don't know, my mom was in the hospital. They had diagnosed her with congestive heart failure, high blood pressure, and like all these different things. She was on all these different medicines, and I wanted to just go home immediately just to be with her. I cried every day. Those were like the longest 3.5 days of my life, honestly, what it felt like. And I knew everything was in God's hands, but it was so hard to be 9,000 miles away from home and not to be there with my mother, my parent. And so that was very hard. But it came to that last day where I didn't know any of like the results or anything from the eco, and God had just given me so much peace. I was able to go about my day because ministry didn't stop here because she was in the hospital. I still had to go out and go teach. I still had to go do these things. And so God had just given me so much peace. He put someone in my life that has such a peaceful spirit. And so when I was around that person, I didn't really, I wouldn't say it was a distraction, but it was a good distraction to where like I wasn't just sitting there and just crying because I didn't know the unknown. But after that time, the results came back and she didn't have no heart problems or anything, and it was a miracle. It was only God. And so what felt like forever, like it was great. Like I don't want to say like I can't explain it, but it was so good, so relieving to be like she doesn't have anything. But if things would have turned out differently, God is still good anyway. And so so it was hard, but I knew I had to trust God anyway. No matter what the results came back, everything was in his hands. And so even though we got the results we wanted, they could have turned out differently. And if they would have turned out differently, he is still good anyway. So I want that to be clear. God is still good no matter the results of anything, because his plan is always best. His timing is always best. And even when we don't understand why something is happening, when it's happening, that's okay. God has a plan, whether we know it or not. And so that was a very hard, and that was actually last week. That was a really hard time, but I got through it. I was surrounded by people that got me through it, and it was just such a blessing. And to know that people were praying for her and praying for me was such a relief. And God is so good. He's so good. How did you learn to be content being single at such a young age? Honestly, I wouldn't, like, it's not easy. Obviously, I'm like one of like many of my friends that are like, wait, yeah, I'm single. Like most of my friends are like either dating, talking stages, or engaged or married. And so being surrounded by that, it was like, oh, like I need to look, or da da da. But honestly, no, like I had to learn about myself. Like the past 3 years have been the best years of my life. Like I just had to learn who I was, what I like to do, what I'm interested in, become that woman, that wife materials, we would say. Yeah, I just had to learn to like be myself. What am I looking for? And not to look, when God's timing is right, like that person to come. And I've had to learn that, like whoever God has for me, he'll come in God's timing, not my timing. And I don't know, I'm just content with it. I had to learn to be content by myself, be happy by myself, and not finding joy in that man, that spouse. And so now I'm at a point where I am happy by myself, and so I'm content, and I'm just waiting on God's timing. If it's His will and His plan for me to have a spouse, then that would come, and He will reveal that to me in His timing. So yeah. What is another question? How has being in a new country grown your faith? So obviously 9,000 miles away. This is my third trip in Australia, and I've shed a lot of tears. Couldn't understand some things. Finally got peace about it, and so what has grown my faith? Knowing that I had so much support behind me. Even through the tears, even through the long nights, even through the sleepless nights, I had so much support. Prayed all the time. It strengthened my prayer time with God. Sorry, someone's texting me. And so faith, like, I came 9,000 miles away, and I was connected with God's people, and so that was really good. And so, okay, sorry y'all. I am back now. What is another question that I should ask? What is my current favorite worship song? My favorite hymn at the moment is, I have a lot of favorite hymns. Like, as soon as I hear the tune, I'm like, that's my favorite. But currently it is Well With My Soul. I just love that song. So if I could connect the worship song to that, it would be Even If. I don't know if people would consider that a worship song, but Even If by Mercy Me is a really good song, and it has It Is Well With My Soul like in the bridge of that song. And so my favorite verse is the third verse. My sin, oh the blitz, oh this glorious thought, my sin not in part but the whole is nailed to the cross. And y'all, I just love that verse. I feel like so many times we say like, Jesus, He died on the cross for our sins, but we don't realize the nails that were driven into His hands, the blood that was shed, gasp trying to come up for air, the nails that were pierced into His hands and His feet. That had to hurt, right? You ever stub your toe and you think that hurts? Imagine a nail driven into both your hands and your feet. You're tied up on the cross. There's people spitting on you. There's people mocking you. There's people doing all these things. And we just go about life like, oh yeah, He died for me. Yeah, He died for, he sacrificed everything. And so many people, they think like, oh, I sacrificed so much to like do this and do this and do this. And let me tell you, me coming to Australia, I thought it was such a big sacrifice. But I was doing a missionary lesson at one of the churches here in Australia by Amy Carmichael, and she said, when I consider the cross of Christ, how can anything that I do be called sacrifice? He died for me. The least that I can do is go 9,000 miles away and tell people about Him, right? The blood that He shed for me. The least I could do is live for Him. The least I could do is lay my all on the altar of sacrifice. And so, yeah. I feel like I've answered a good amount of questions. So, what does your quiet time with God look like right now? So currently I have such a chaotic schedule for the most part, but I try to make time for myself, and make quiet time for myself the best I can, whether it's early in the morning or late at night. Most of the times it is late at night, or like in between train rides or bus rides. And so my quiet time is listening to music. I always listen to music, so I put music in the background, whether it's instrumental or hymns playing in the background or whatever it may be, and just open up my Bible, have my notebooks. I currently have both my notebooks right now. It is one myself, and so I also have my Bible right here opened up as well. And so this is what my quiet time looks like: peace and quiet, door shut, notifications on do not disturb, and just really having that connection time with God, spending time in prayer. I typically kneel on the side of the bed on my knees in prayer, and oh, Kelina, that's so extreme, but that's the least that I could do. That also helps me to stay focused, because when I try to pray and I'm in the bed, most of the time I just like fall asleep, or like I lose track of where I was in the prayer, and it's just a lot going on. So my quiet time with God be a cup of coffee or some water, a little snack, and just study my Bible, preparing for my Bible lessons or whatever the case may be. So my quiet time with God typically looks like that, or it could be on a train ride with my headphones in, reading my Bible, studying it, listening to commentaries, reading commentaries. It can vary. So yeah. And my last question is, what piece of advice for girls in a lonely season? So I'm going to reword this and say, what piece of advice for people in a lonely season? So men and women. So what piece of advice would I give to someone in a lonely season is that wait on the Lord. Like, focus on yourself. Like, be the godly man or godly woman that God wants you to be. And so when you become that person, God will send your person in his timing if it's his will. So just wait on him. Like, there's no need to rush. God's timing is perfect, whether you believe it or not. Even though you don't understand why you're waiting, or everyone around you's getting married or starting to date and you just don't understand why, God has a plan and a purpose for your life. Just wait on him, and yeah, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. And so that is what I would tell people that is in a season of loneliness or waiting. Just wait on the Lord. So yeah, so that is the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed this video and that it was a blessing to you. If you would like more videos, make sure you subscribe. My social medias will be in this. My social medias will be in the description below, so feel free to follow those and ask me questions, or you could text me questions, or you could put them in the comments down below. Or yeah, so I hope it was a blessing to y'all, and I will see y'all in the next video. Chosen is out.